Good morning. I've come to this this patch of woodland that I photographed last autumn. It's got some amazing birch tree formations and there is a bit of a low cloud coming in, so I'm hoping that will provide some nice foggy conditions. But because there's no wind, the midges are out in force. So fingers crossed I can find some compositions. Hopefully the fog will get a bit thicker or a bit more visible, but the midges are very annoying, so I'm just going to have to keep moving. So I'm finding some misty conditions, but it's proving quite difficult to find a composition. There is so much growth at this time of year that the whole woodland is in complete chaos with growth. So what I'm trying to do is like what I said in the wintry forest in Abernethy in my other video. I'm just trying to find small subjects to focus in on to create a composition with. There's so much going on, I need to try and find something much simpler. I've had to come up quite high to get the mist actually amongst the trees. And it is still very, very thin, very listless, and it's not providing as much simplification as I would like. But I'm sure I'll be able to find something. I've only just got started, and maybe the fog will thicken a little bit more. So I'll carry on trying to find compositions and battling midges, but yeah, this is proving quite difficult. So my first composition is actually a bit wider than I would normally go in a forest like this. But there's this wonderful bracken forming the foreground, and I'm purposefully underexposing by one stop. So currently my settings are f10, ISO 100, 0.5 seconds, and that's giving a really dark and atmospheric feel. And there is this sort of foggy conditions towards the trees up in the top of the frame. And I really like how it's looking. It looks very, very almost gothic and dark and romanticist in sort of story. Oh, the midges are driving me mad. I'm happy with this as a first composition. It's something a little different. I haven't captured something like this in a forest before. And I really like the way the light is falling on the bracken in the foreground. So check it out and let me know what you think. For this composition, I am actually zooming in a bit more like I prefer, but it's got this really strong dark tree that's forming the main subject of the image. I quite like its shape. I don't know why. It's not a very complicated shape, it's quite simple, but I just enjoy it. And in the background there are these misty trees that are just peeking through, which again I just really like. I think for this one it's going to end up being a square or a 4x5 crop, to be honest, but I really like its effect. Same settings as before, f10, ISO 100, 0.5 seconds. And the midges are mad. I'm going to look like I have chicken pox by the end of this morning. So for this next composition, I've got this nice winding little path through some heather and some with the misty forest behind it. It looks quite nice, and there's this dead piece of bracken on the left hand side that's really a bright, vibrant orange. So I'm really happy with it. It looks quite interesting. Yeah, I really like this actually. I really like this birch tree on the right hand side. It's got this white and grey mottled trunk that looks amazing, and it's so straight. Settings are f10, ISO 100 and 0.8 seconds. So this next composition I'm really quite happy with as well. There's such a mass of colour at the base of this tree with heather and bracken that some bracken is dead and orange and some is bright green, and then the heather is flowering and purple. It just looks really good. And then there's this trunk sticking up out of the mass of colour, and then a bit of a misty forest behind it. So I'm interested to see how that one turns out. So this next composition I'm really quite happy with as well. There's such a mass of colour at the base of this tree with heather and bracken that some bracken is dead and orange and some is bright green, and then the heather is flowering and purple. It just looks really good. And then there's this trunk sticking up out of the mass of colour, and then a bit of a misty forest behind it. So I'm interested to see how that one turns out. So the settings for this one is ISO 100, f10, 0.6 seconds, and it'll be great to see how it turns out. I might just do one a little bit zoomed in, cutting out this boulder that's in the front, or just, yeah, that's even better actually. I've just almost cut it out completely, but it's still there, but you get to see the colour a bit more. So a similar image to the last one. I'm trying to get this heather mixed with the bracken in different colours. This time I've got quite a strong tree in the foreground on the left hand side, and then the forest advancing backwards on the right. But I'm hoping the colours really come out in post. A little bit longer exposure on this one, 1 second compared to 0.6 before, but I don't know if you can see all these midges flying about. I am absolutely riddled with them. I'm just going to keep moving because these midges are driving me mad. fog is really starting to clear now, but there's this nice scene of heather. I'm still trying to capture this heather mixed with the trees. I think it's quite a nice summery picture. I'm zoomed in on this patch of heather with a few birch trees. It would look better if there was a bit more mist behind it. There isn't really much that you can see in the picture, unfortunately. But the colour of the heather is just lovely and vibrant pinks. I'm at 1 second, f10 ISO 100, and that's really bringing out the colour, and it's quite nice. For this one, there is this just wonderful tree formation. There's a lot of bracken in the base of the picture, and I'm going to go quite dark. 0.6 seconds, f10 ISO 100. But I think that'll look quite nice once I process it. So for this shot, I've come down to the shores of a little pond. It's always very picturesque, and today it's got this wonderful reflection in the shot. And it's got these reeds blanketing the whole pond right now, so you can hardly see the water. But it looks really nice, really simple. Still a bit of low cloud up higher, but the mist is clearing this low down. But it's making a nice composition. So for this one, ISO 100, f10, 0.4 seconds, and I'm getting a nice balanced shot. Good shadows, good highlights. So I'm quite pleased with it. Just another wee reflection shot on this pond. It looks really nice. I've decided to actually put the horizon in the upper third, and that means that in the foreground you can see just through the water the rocks, and it shows you how clear the water is. But the mist is sort of doing stuff over there, which is really quite nice, and the reflection is superb. Really nice reflection. It's very still today, hence all the midges. Again, it's 0.4 seconds, f10 ISO 100 for this one, but I'm really happy with the result. Let's keep going. So I'm really struggling to find a scene now that I think will work. I don't want to keep taking pictures of the same lake. The mist is clearing and it's getting brighter. So I think I'm going to call it here. Yeah, I think that's the end of this video. I'm going to keep an eye out for compositions as I head out, but I don't think I'm going to find any, as it's just another sort of drizzly day now. I'm not sure what's coming up. I hope I've got some good videos coming up. I need to plan a bit more ahead, but I'm sort of reacting to the conditions. So when I got up this morning with the mist and the fog, I just knew I had to come and photograph this forest. This forest is beautiful when it's foggy. It would be better if it was a bit more foggy, to be honest. But I'm happy with how things have turned out. I'm happy with a lot of the compositions I've got. Just crossing a little stepping stone. Yeah, turned out to be quite a good morning. The heather here is amazing right now. Wonderful purples, which I'm hoping will come out in the pictures. But obviously, as you saw, I've been battling midges all day. And that's because it's quite humid and still. And the midges love those conditions. So, thanks for watching. And if you've enjoyed today and enjoyed my other videos, don't forget to subscribe. It is really greatly appreciated as I grow this channel and I keep making new films. But I'm enjoying it. I don't know about you. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.